What's going on, family? Hope this message finds you all well and in good spirits. And in this video here, guys, I want to address something I said in my past video. A few of you guys actually wanted me to talk about why I started taking vitamin D. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video here. All right. So vitamin D deficiency. All right. So basically in 2019, around November 2019, something like that, I woke up one morning and I had the absolute craziest vertigo to where I couldn't stand up. I've never been like this in my life. It is very scary to any of you guys that's ever had vertigo or anything like that, to where you can't stand up. Not just a small dizziness, you feel like your head is literally tilting to one side, and it's completely scary. All right. So, but previous to this here, and I'll go back to that, I was drinking apple cider vinegar, and I think I made a video on that to where I felt like the apple cider vinegar was flushing just some maybe minerals and vitamins out of my body. You know, I'm not sure what it was doing exactly, but I'd had like, I think 5 or 6 panic attacks in a row in one day. And for any of you guys that's had a panic attack, you know that it's really hard to deal with. So for me to have one and then start getting relief, and then bam, another one, and then start getting relief, and then bam, another one, just 5 or 6 times in a row, was absolutely mind-wrecking to me, all right? So at the time, I thought this was the apple cider vinegar. I don't know. I still believe that was something to do with it. But, then, it's probably a month later I started dealing with this vertigo, all right? So I put the really bad panic attacks and the vertigo together, and I dealt with this bad vertigo for probably about 2 weeks. It was super bad for about 24 to probably 48 hours. And then I went to my chiropractor, and he adjusted my, basically adjusted my body, adjusted my neck and everything. I felt a little bit better, but I still wasn't able to really drive myself anywhere. The vertigo was real bad. I've never been like this in my life, right? So now I'm dealing with this vertigo problem, right? As I was dealing with panic attacks, the panic attacks were coming more often, and then here comes the vertigo, all right? So now I'm laying here trying to do everything I can to get rid of this vertigo. Well, as I had the vertigo, I started noticing that I was getting like kind of like a pain in my ribs. And then also with the vertigo, I got a really bad, weird pain right here in my head, all right? And when I say weird, I mean like, felt like somebody was pushing on my brain, guys. It just really give you the heebie-jeebies. It was really, really weird. And it was freaking me out, but I'm real stubborn. I don't like going to the doctor unless I'm literally laying on the ground and have to go, right? Which I was getting pretty close to. So now I got the vertigo. I got this weird pain in my head, and this weird pain in my head would not go away. It was kind of just stuck there. It was almost like it was, when you get real dizzy, your head kind of feels like it's spinning. It almost felt stuck like that right here in this area, but at the same time felt somebody was pushing on it. So I was actually starting to think I had maybe a brain tumor or something like that between them two things. So I was getting really nervous and not sure what to do with myself at this time. So I started doing a whole lot of research. And as I'm doing this research over, I don't know, it's probably a month or so, something like that, I started noticing, actually my mom had told me one day, she's like, "Hey James, you're looking really pale." And I didn't think nothing about it, but at the same time, I'm just not a real pale person, all right? I don't know how this light makes me look. I got a light right above me, so it may change my skin tone a lot, but I'm not really ever a pale person. So I started putting that together with the vertigo and the panic attacks, happening more often. And then it was like probably, I'm going to say a week later, I started noticing this was something that had been bothering me, slowly, but I thought it was just due to age, right? I started noticing that my joints were hurting a little bit more. And then as my joints were hurting, a few more weeks went by. And then what I noticed is my shins and just my bones are hurting like really bad, guys. So those of you that watch the channel know that I'm 40 years old, all right? But when I say my bones were hurting, they literally felt like they were over 100 years old. I felt like I was in a 100-year-old person's body, and the 100-year-old person might even feel better than I did. But my bones literally felt like they wanted to just shatter. All right, so I was dealing with extreme pain, between the bones, the dizziness, the panic attacks. Everything was just really overwhelming me. And then I started getting to the point to where I wasn't getting very much sleep either. So all this stuff tied together was just making for a super, super bad lifestyle. And I literally felt like I was dying, guys. All right. There's no other way to explain that. I literally felt like I was dying, like my life was slowly coming to an end. So I kept on doing research, kept on searching. I finally went to my doctor and asked him about some symptoms I had and what he thought, but he wanted to know exactly what I felt like. All right. So, being that I was having a little bit of depression symptoms, I didn't want to talk to him about it a lot. I just, in my mind, after doing all this research, I really thought I had a vitamin D deficiency, all right? So this is what I leaned towards, when I told him, I said, listen, this is the test I want. I want to do a vitamin D test. Of course, he did other blood work too. I really had to beg him to do my vitamin D test. It was like, to him, it was non-existent. To him, it seemed like there was no way I would have a vitamin D problem, right? So he went ahead and did the blood work. Nonetheless, he called me the next day or the day after, I can't remember, and put me on an emergency dose of vitamin D, all right? So he said that I had a very low, to me, I don't know if it's very low. Now I've done a lot more research. It's low. I was at a 20. I know there's people out there that's a lot lower than that. But for some of you guys, you don't even feel it. And then some people may get like me or even worse, and they literally feel like death is coming, all right? So this is very important to check out, guys. If you feel any of these symptoms, and you could feel so many more symptoms, guys. You could be losing your hair. You could be doing all kinds of things. But he put me on this emergency dose, all right? So I started taking it. I would say, within the first week, and this is something I forgot to mention, I also started getting really bad brain fog. Like I couldn't spit out my words, and I couldn't have great conversation, and I felt confused a lot. So probably within the first week or two, that vitamin D kind of started lifting that fog up, and I started to realize that that's probably exactly what was wrong with me the whole time, okay? So the second or third dose I started taking, I started noticing that my mind was way more clear, and that pain up here has started to fade away. All right, so I started feeling a lot better. By probably about a month and a half in, I started noticing a lot of my panic attacks fading away. All right. I also had a lot of pins and needles in my calves and stuff like that. A lot of weird pains in my body, guys. It's hard to explain them all, but they were there. So those started fading away. But the last thing that faded completely away, and it probably took, this is even after I finished my dose, it was 3 months. After I got about, 4 or 5 months in, something like that, maybe even 6 months, then the bone pain kind of just started diminishing away. It's like it just pretty much left, just left. But let me tell you where I messed up, right? So after I took this large dose and started feeling better, my first idea was, well, I don't want to take this vitamin D anymore. And there's a reason, because the first day I would take it, I would kind of get short of breath, all right? And you guys know this anxiety channel, so we can't deal with feeling more short of breath or having panic attacks in our sleep and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I was doing only on the first night, all right? So my thing was, well, I'll just go outside and get some sunlight, all right? So that's what I started doing. I started going outside, getting sunlight, started walking more. I basically just take my shirt, take my hat off, and just walk around in a pair of shorts and flip-flops and go take my dog for a walk daily, all right? So I started to feel a lot better after this dose and after getting the sunlight and all this and that, but I didn't keep supplementing the vitamin D3. I just went outside, and then we went through a period of winter, and then we, over here where I'm at in Texas, it started raining a lot. There would be weeks of rain, and basically I just wasn't getting much more sunlight anymore. But I also was trying to eat foods with vitamin D in it. It's hard to do. You can't really get the daily recommended amount through your food. It's hard. So, fast forward probably 6 months after I started feeling better, 7 months, something like that. Now I feel like I'm slowly starting to creep backwards. I'm starting to get a little bit of bone pain again. The vertigo's still there just a little bit. I feel slightly dizzy daily. But the main thing was I started feeling so much better And then I started going backwards again. And that is a horrible sign to feel like you're going backwards again, guys. So, and that's why I made this video the other day about, the vitamin I'm taking for anxiety and stuff like that. And I wanted to bring you a further description and reason of why I'm taking that. And this is it. So this is very important, guys, that you get your vitamin D checked. Anybody that, especially you guys that's on this channel, that's suffering from panic attacks, anxiety, insomnia, anything like that, lack of energy, any of those symptoms. If you're suffering from any of those symptoms, guys, please go get yourselves checked out by your doctor. If they don't want to test like my doctor did, just keep pushing the issue, get them to test you, figure out what your levels are, and they might tell you like my doctor did, oh, you're pretty close. Well, I knew I wasn't real close because I did some research and found out that you should be at a minimum of 30, which I was at a 20, a minimum of 30, and all the way up to, some people say 80 to 100, all right? So after I finished my dose, I got up to 43, so that's why I started feeling a little better. But me personally, everybody's going to have their own recommended, number where they want to be. Me personally, I'd like to be at 70 or 80 just to see what I would feel like at that level, right? So what I've been doing was what I showed you guys, that bottle of vitamin D3. That's what I've been taking. I started taking that again. Slowly but surely, the pain in my joints and stuff like that are starting to fade away again. It's been a couple weeks since I started taking it again. And I'm slowly starting to feel better. My energy's starting to get back up. I'm sleeping really good. I mean, sleeping really hard. So if you have trouble sleeping, man, it could literally be something as small as vitamin D. So get it checked. Because I'm a racy-minded person. I have trouble sleeping. But until this, now I'm starting to sleep real hard. I actually sleep a little more than I need to. But it's a good thing because I probably need to catch up on my sleep. So with that being said, guys, that's pretty much all the symptoms that I had. I know there's a few more. It's hard to remember all these things when you're making a video. But I just want to get the point out there across to you guys that this is real important to go get checked out. If you guys feel bad in any sort of way, this whole channel is about anxiety, depression, whatever you want to put on the table and leave in the comments down below, that's what we'll talk about. But vitamin D is a hormone, okay? And what it does is it really messes with your mind, okay, guys? So when you're low in vitamin D, this starts getting off balance up here, and guess what? Your whole body's out of whack, man, and that can cause a lot of messed up symptoms like we all have. So go get it checked out, guys. It doesn't cost that much money, and it can literally change your life for the better if that's what's wrong with you. You'd be surprised. They say about 90% of the world is low in vitamin D. Not everybody feels it, but everybody that watches this channel could be the one person that's feeling it out of all the other people that don't feel it, all right? So it was really destroying my life, guys, and I really want to put this out there for you guys just so you can go get checked out. Anybody that has had this problem, please comment down below and let me know and others know, because we all like to read them comments, just to see what your symptoms were and if it made you any better, all right? So with that being said, guys, if you do go get checked out, please leave a comment down below what your levels were. And if you will, follow up with that and let us know how much better you feel, all right? Or if you've already done this before, just drop a comment below and let us know how you feel now, all right? With that being said, guys, I love you all. I hope that really helped. I know it really helped me out, guys. I had to really dig deep and do this research myself to figure this out. But it made me feel a lot better. Is my anxiety completely gone? No, it isn't, because I've dealt with this since I was 19 years old, and I don't know if that's the real reason for my anxiety. Maybe it could be a vitamin D deficiency. I'm not sure. But the extra panic attacks and anxiety attacks I was having was definitely because my vitamin D was low. So we'll just leave it at that, guys. And with that being said, I love each and every one of you. See you in the next one.